Right, hello and good afternoon. It's a lovely bright day, which is lovely. Well, where I am anyway. Anyway, I'm going to do a wee hero quest sort of log. And obviously because I do a lot of writing and writing stories, I really enjoy making characters. And no way better to experience it sometimes than an actual physical board game. And obviously you get little characters like that. He's the bard. He is a hero quest character. And this is the druid, which is cool. And of course there's a wee wolf, which is an ally to the heroes. But sometimes I like to buy other figures, which are of different companies. And obviously the one that I like a lot is Reaper Bones. And this is a witch. She is quite cool. She's even got the wee broom, which is excellent. And she's a great wee miniature, actually. And yeah, she's got her wee hat there and everything. So I'm going to discuss about this character and what spells or powers she has. She is actually a herbalist rather than being called a witch. Though a herbalist can be obviously not just a witch, but it can be any form of person, really. Because obviously a herbalist is obviously relies on nature's all the stuff from nature, basically. So basically, obviously I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with Hero Quest, but this is the rough board from a distance, and of course my wee figure stands here. Yes, and basically the first power that I'm going to talk about is that she has what's known as pollen dust. So she can throw pollen dust in the air, and basically, let's say this is a baddie. The bees will surround. She'll throw pollen, as long as it's in the line of sight and it's in the same room, she can throw pollen dust. And the bees will swarm around the chosen enemy. And then basically the enemy throws 3 combat dice and then 1 deduction of a skull from the monster. They can't defend against the bees because, well, you can't really, basically. So that's one good spell she has, or a natural form of a spell. And basically, she only can use that once per quest. Another one is that she has is if she's in a room, or for that matter in a corridor, she can choose 3 squares. So let's go back to this room. So if she's a room full of monsters, I should have got some monsters. Hold on. As examples. Let's say there's a couple of these here. Let's say there's a few monsters in this room. You've got the mummy, the abomination, and you've got an archer skeleton here, which is cool. She's in this room, and obviously she's just entered the room, okay? That's the open door. And she's found herself in difficulty. She can actually scatter seeds on the ground. Obviously, she doesn't tell Zargon, but she can write it down. She can mark out a small illustration. As long as it's accurate, then she can mark off 3 squares where she's chosen for the seeds to be scattered, basically. And then if a monster lands on that square, they roll 1 combat dice, and if a skull comes up, it deducts 1. Because obviously it's called Venus Seeds, and they're giant Venus flytraps with sharp teeth that come up from the cracks of the ground and go, you know, and basically they roll. But if they roll a shield, obviously, if they roll their shield, they're obviously defended, basically. So that's another good element that she has, which is quite cool, which is called the Venus seeds. So she can scatter them around, throw them in the air, and they can bounce into the corners of the room if she wills. Yes. Okay, and the next one she's got is nectar syrup. Nectar syrup obviously is a healing one. So she can take nectar syrup or give it to her fellow heroes, which gives them 4 body points and 1 mind point if they're struggling with those areas. So that's a handy one. And then another sort of spell she has is what's known as the fragrant scent of allurement. And again, if she's in a room, she could be with other heroes. What's good about this power is she can actually make a monster come to her and then attack her, so then she can move away afterwards, which is absolutely brilliant. So you know, if she had the scent of allurement spell, and there's a monster, but because sometimes when you go up to a monster and attack, you can't move away afterwards, which is annoying. So obviously this spell allows the monster to be attracted to this real potent fragrance, and it goes over to her, and then she can attack and stuff like that, which is handy. Though obviously she only attacks with one, unfortunately. But I haven't devised whether or not she can have that allurement to another hero. She could maybe cause it to go to another hero. If she's adjacent to the hero, she can make the scent and maybe go to another hero who is maybe more powerful for hand-to-hand combat, basically. Like that's the wee bard there. So I have to write it out more properly, so I do. But these are just ideas at the minute. But that is the fragrant scent of allurement, which is a very handy one. And finally, for her 4th ability, skill, or the seeds, or a naturalistic sort of spell, is the bark skin seeds, which if she consumes the seeds, she'll form tough bark skin, giving her 1 extra defense dice, which is it can come in handy. So she's pretty good, like, I have to say. She can't wear obviously any metal armor, but she can upgrade her weapons. But she can't use things like obviously the battle axe and stuff. But she can have swords and stuff, long swords and stuff. But she's quite cool anyway. But anyway, that's my first character, and I've named her. She's a proper herbalist. I've named her Abby Anglith, so she's quite cool. She's based on one of my stories. Right, next up we are going to go to another character, but obviously I've chosen just a normal Hero Quest character, which is the Druid, and he's naturalistic anyway. But and obviously there's his wee character sheet, which tells you the information. But the amazing thing about this, and he has in Hero Quest, he has his own magics, and a lot of them are healing spells, which is good. But I've devised my own 3, basically, so he's more hands-on, basically. The first one he has ability is called Shapeshift Wolf. And if he casts this spell on himself, he can actually change into the wolf. And the wolf stats are here. So it's pretty good. You can attack with 3 and everything, which is superb. So basically, but if the monster defeats the wolf, he resorts back to himself and can no longer use the spell, the wolf spell, the shapeshift wolf spell, which is annoying. But if he's not defeated, he can change anytime, basically, and attack. And the good thing about the wolf is they have 10 movements of square, so it might be handy even for that in itself. But again, I have to devise up more accurate rules to it, like, but that's the shapeshift wolf. And another sort of power that I gave his name's Wilbert Windwolf, is shapeshift wind. So basically, if there's a closed door here, there's a spell like this already in Hero Quest. So it's obviously he basically can transform into wind and slip through the gaps and have a look around as a wind form, revealing obviously all the furniture. And then the wind flows back out and he reforms on the other side, basically. And it can be used 3 times per quest. So that is a very good one. It's the shapeshift wind. And of course, the final one of his is the Wind of Anger. And basically, if there's monsters and he's been attacked, he can whip up a wind and push them away. And it could be, when he hits a wall or an object, he has to stop. So the winds can push them back diagonally as well. So basically, you have to stop as soon as they hit an object, if a table or whatever. But if it's in the corridor and he whips up a wind, he could be blown back to where he hits the wall. So anywhere where it hits the wall, the Wind of Anger. So it slows him down a wee bit, which is good, and it can get him off from attacking you, because if you blow him back even a few squares, he still has to move up to you and attack you, but he can't move away again, which is good. So sometimes it's very handy that, because obviously if you leave a monster there, Zargon can attack and then move away to bring in another monster if there's 2 in sight, so that means Zargon will get 2 attacks. But with the wind, it can blow him away, which then he would have to come back and attack, and then he wouldn't be able to move away again, basically. So that's a very handy one, the Wind of Anger, but it has to be in one direction. The wind can, if you choose one direction, you have to keep that direction, whether it's diagonal or this way or that way. And if you choose to do it when your fellow comrades is on, the wind would have to be, it can't go that way through the person. It would have to be either all the other ways, basically. So that's the Wind of Anger. Right, well, so that's Wilbert Windwolf and his wee wolf, which is superb. So we've done those 3 characters. Next up, of course, is the Bard. Everybody loves the Bard, really, don't they? A musical genius. You can see his wee lute on the back of his back, which is very class. And you can see he's very proud. He's actually an orc, which I like in Hero Quest. Because, people seem to think goblins and orcs are always baddies, but there is a lot of adventure and fantasy that sometimes the orc and goblin can be the goodie. And I like how Hero Quest chose him as an actual orc. If you see his wee face with the teeth, it's hard to sort of get a good detail, basically. Anyway, I select in Hero Quest. He has his own spells, bardic spells, but again, I've devised 3 of my own, just because. His name is Charlie Anglith, and obviously he is partner with Abby Anglith. So in my story, they're a couple. But This is Charlie Anglith, and he is a bard. So I'll go through you his ideas of spells that I've chosen. Basically, the first one I've selected is the Song's Defense. And sometimes Zargon has spell casting characters, and they can cast spells that inflict body damage, but they also can cast spells that inflict mind-altering spells, which are like fear, where you can't roll or attack or defend or sleep, or there's other ones. So this Song's Defense is used to protect against the mind-altering magic spells. And all heroes in the same room or corridor who hear the song, it doesn't affect. So if Zargon casts a spell of fear on one character, or there's ones where it affects all characters and you have to roll a 6 to get them out of that lock, and it is really rock hard, like. But this defends, so it has no effect on the heroes in the same room or corridor. And it's only used once per quest because it is a very, very good melody. So that's good. But if Zargon uses spells that cause damage, the song has no effect. The characters still receive the damage. Because there is one in Hero Quest where it protects you against the magic spell of resistance, protects you against the damage causing spells. But this one's the opposite. It protects you against the mind-altering spells, which is superb. So the next melody is kind of like the bardic song to diffuse. In other words, if there's booby traps in a room, which you cannot see, and you have to search first, the melody can diffuse all the booby traps in the room, including the chest and any that are found on the square. So they would go into a room, and obviously if there's no monsters, and they would search for booby traps, and then Zargon might point to this or this, and then or there could be one beside a door before going out a door. And sometimes that is lethal, like. But he can play the melody which diffuses all the booby traps in the room. So that's a very good one, actually. And again, it's also used once per quest, per level. And finally, the other one is called the melody's natural rush. So basically, when the bard plays this song, it gives a rush to all heroes in the same room. So there could be 3 heroes in a room, and basically it'll double up your amount rolled on movement. So basically, if you roll a level, that's an excellent roll, 11, then you double that up to 22. But if you obviously roll that, 6, 2 6s are 12, so it'll be 12 to move. So it doubles up whatever you roll. So it's called the melody's natural rush. And again, it only can be used once per quest, but they are very handy sometimes, trust me. Which is handy. Yeah. Anyway, that's all at the minute for my characters for Hero Quest. I will write some poetry about their powers and maybe about the characters, which is good. A wee bit of fantasy writing is always welcome. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed my little Hero Quest log. Because Hero Quest is one of my favourite games, and I enjoy it thoroughly. It's a good piece of escapism, and it sets you in a different world other than your own. Anyway, thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.